Some quick thoughts on soldering irons this week on Learning Curve. Hi, my name is Spencer Thomas. Thank you for watching Learning Curve. If you're new to the channel, please share, please like, please subscribe. Of course, if you like what you see, that is. If you don't, keep it to yourself. Move on. There's a lot of internet out there for you to hang out in. Want to take a minute to give a shout out to viewer and commenter Chris Pyle. Chris owns a high watt amp. He's very proud of it. You all need to know about it. If you see him online or in the real world, make sure you mention that you're super jealous of the fact that he owns a high watt, and we're all impressed. I'm just busting your chops, Chris. Chris and I had a conversation online this weekend. Seems like a great guy. Seems like a good player. Thanks for watching the channel, Chris. I appreciate you. So this week, it's going to be just a quick one. I want to share my thoughts on soldering irons. I bought a new one. It's an upgrade from the one that I've been using for the last couple of years. I did not buy a super expensive one. I didn't buy a super fancy one. I don't think to work on guitars that's really necessary. And that's all I'm going to be doing with this. The temperature only needs to go between 572 and 662 degrees, which is easy to do with a moderately priced soldering iron. Also, you're just using 60/40 rosin core solder. Again, nothing fancy, nothing crazy. It doesn't need to be a big deal, but there was something that I needed to deal with for my own sanity. So this is my original soldering iron. I've been using it for, I guess, about 6 years now. I've used it on every guitar I've worked on. Totally does its job. It heats up hot enough to melt solder. You can pick it up with the part that's not supposed to burn you and you won't get burnt. You can swap out the tips if you need to. It's hot enough for guitar work. It's fine. It's better than fine. It has served me well. But I'm upgrading, and that was a gift. I think that's about a $20 soldering iron. It came with a whole kit with all kinds of stuff in it. You've got your multimeter. So this is probably a little more than 20 now that I think about it. Your shielding stripper, that's mine. It had a solder remover that I broke. I got a bigger one. Again, perfectly great. However, the big flaw with this thing is this, in and of itself, is perfectly stable as long as it doesn't have weight on it. But once you put weight on it, now it's a little less stable. And you've got this power switch, which is attached to this cord. Now, I guess they were assuming that you would plug this into a wall, like over here, like there'd be a wall over here that you could plug it into, and it wouldn't be a problem, but I have to plug it into an extension cord, or something off of the, out of my work area and lower. So what happens is, you get up and walk away, and now you've got this hot iron that is, being pulled around by this weight, and it's tipped over multiple times. I've always been there. I'm very conscious of it, but it slides around a lot. It's easy to tip over. And it's a soldering iron, so it's very hot, and you just don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to burn your house down. I want to thank this soldering iron for all of the amazing work it's done. We've been through a lot, but it's time to go to something with a little stabler base, and hopefully I've made the right choice. So this is the replacement soldering iron. I don't know that I'm pronouncing this right. I'm not trying to make fun of your name. I think that's a Y. It looks like a Y-I-H-U-A, which I'm sure if you're saying it right, it's not yeehaw, but it might be yeehaw. So I'm going to go with that. So, this is basically about stability. That's what this boils down to. Here's what I like about this. It doesn't have a weighted, it doesn't have the little on-off switch on this. So I just put it back in the thing and I can walk away from it. Again, it's a soldering iron, so you're always going to have to be kind of careful, but not as careful as I had to be with the unstable one that I was working with before. This comes with a couple of octopus arms, which I really like. You've got a little thing for your solder right here. If you need to use guitar solder, it comes with its own solder, but that's not the kind that you want. I will put the actual numbers that you want on the screen. And then when you turn it on, you've got, I'll zoom in on that. Yeah, so that's your temperature control. As fate would have it, I have got a couple of projects coming up that I will be soldering with, but I will, so I'll show you how it works next week and the week after that. So those are my thoughts on soldering irons. If you're buying your first soldering iron, just something to think about, especially if you consider yourself clumsy, especially if you tend to walk away from things in a hurry. You are heating up something really hot and it can catch stuff on fire. So just, be cautious and take that into account. Oh, it also comes with one of these guys, which is a solder remover. I'll show you how that works later. And a new pair of tweezers, which I need because my old pair of tweezers like this has a bent, one of the little prongs is bent. It's really easy to put together. I'm looking forward to using it. Next week, we'll put it to use. Next week, I'm going to put that soldering iron into action, but we'll deal with that when we get there. I want to thank you for watching Learning Curve. If you have any questions or comments, please don't be shy. I'll do the best I can to respond to them, and if they're particularly hilarious, I might mock you in a future episode. We'll just see how that goes. But I hope you're doing okay. I really appreciate you watching Learning Curve. Try to be nice to each other. My name is Spencer Thomas. We'll see you next week.